So, I recently built a new deck. I don't know if you could possibly tell what it is. Just maybe. Just maybe. But, anyway, I played with my friend. He plays Blue Eyes and Odd Eyes. His Odd Eyes is annoying. One, because it's a pendulum, and two, because he has a lot of Fusion XZ, Synchro, and Link monsters in there. So, he's always going to have a field. And I made him rage quit because he couldn't do damage to me with this because of all of their effects and how they play. So I'm going to show you just a little deck list that I kind of made with these. I think I have 44 cards in here. You can cut it down, you can take some cards out, but I like it at 44. I know that it's not optimal, but it's only 4 cards over the card limit, so I don't really care. Oh yeah, and then I have extra decks right here. This is not my extra deck right now. Most of these Xyz monsters are just fillers right now, because most of my monsters are level 2s and level 1s. But when I get the Ghostrick Xyz monsters, I will probably make a part 2 or an update video showing you what you can do with the Xyz monsters. So, let's just go with the extra deck first. So, this is obviously a dark type deck. So, Witch, 500 attack for all the dark monsters, and 400 attack and defense minus for light monsters. You can target a dark monster you control in your graveyard and add it to my hand. Add it to your hand. You can only use the effect of Witch's Apprentice once per turn. And it only takes 2 dark monsters, and there's a bunch of dark monsters in here. So, the next would be Avendred Savior. So, I didn't think that this would be a good card, and I don't know if it's a good card, but its first effect is basically useless, so you can't see this, but still. Yeah, its first... Hold on. Yeah, you still can't see it. Okay, so basically what it says is, during damage calculation... So this requires 2 zombie-type monsters, since all level 3s in this deck are zombies, nothing to worry about. For 2 zombie-type monsters, this card's name becomes Ravendred Slayer while in the field. You can only use the following effects of Avendred Savior once per turn. Target 1 Vandred card in your graveyard, add it to your hand. Nobody's going to use that effect if you're using it for the ghost tricks. But I liked its second effect during damage calculation only. If your opponent controls a monster, you can send 1 zombie-type monster from your deck to the graveyard. That means that you could use, hold on, put you down. This means you could use Ghostly Canary, because for your number of set face downs, you can bring 1 Ghostrick monster, depending on how many face downs you have, according to the level. So if you have 5 face downs, these counts your spells and traps, by the way. If you have 5 face downs, you can summon any Ghostrick monster 1 through level 5. So, yeah. That's why I thought that it was good. And then you subtract 400 for its entire level, 200 times its level. So if it's a level 3 monster, that's 600 damage taken off. This is a quick effect right before you swing on it, something. That was Link monsters. Next is number 45. Number 45, Crumble Logos, the Prophet of Demolition. 2 level 2 monsters, bunch of level 2s. Again, you can detach one material and target one face-up card on either side of the field, on either field. Well, this monster is a face-up on that field, the card effects are negated, and while that card is on the field, while that target is on the field, cards with the same name as that target and their effects cannot be activated. So that means if you, I played against a guy that played with Fluffles. He used Fluffle Dog and I don't remember the other one, but those were his, like, drawing monsters. He used those to draw a lot. So if you just slam this down on his Fluffle Dog, or something like that, you could just say, no. Kind of like Solemn Judgment. Then Mannequin Cat. I have Mannequin Cat in here, because I like it. It's a level 2, obviously. Rank 2, sorry. Once per turn, you can detach one material from this card. Target one monster your opponent controls in the graveyard, special summon it to your opponent's field. If a monster is special summoned to your opponent's field while you control this monster, except during the damage step, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, special summon one monster with the same type or attribute from your hand, deck, or graveyard. This works very well with this deck because a lot of Dark is one of the best attributes because they have some of the best effects in the game. So most people will run at least some Dark monsters. So as long as it's a level 4 or higher, you're set to summon anything from your graveyard with this. Don't mind this Paleozoic. I don't know why that's in there. I don't remember adding it. Yeah. Then I'm going to butcher this name. Kikin Nagashi Fucho. Kikin Nagashi Fucho. 2 level 1 monsters. There's level 1s in here. And, there's also, I also put the spell card Scapegoat in here, because they can still be used for Xyz summons. And there, I don't know if there's a level 1, but I think there is, and it's called So Cute Boss. It's either a level 1 or a level 4, I'm not sure. Rank 1 or rank 4. So what this card does is that you can, you take no battle damage, for discarding all of its Xyz materials. You take no battle damage at all. So that's pretty great. Now, again with the cards. There's this Greedy Venom Fusion Dragon. Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, real easy to summon. I feel like all of you know what that is, but if you don't, I will explain it in a second. But Greedy Venom Fusion Dragon, you need one 8 or higher monster, this, and then one Predaplant monster. So like I said, you need one level 8 or higher Dark monster and one Predaplant monster. And the Predaplant that I'm thinking of is Predaplant. It's a fusion Predaplant Fire. I don't remember its name at all. It starts with, it has Phi in its name. So if you look up Predaplant Phi something, just type in Phi THY, and you should see it. It's really good because you can basically negate one entire card out of your opponent's deck. You can make their attack 0, and then you can also you can make one of your opponent's monsters attack 0, and I'm pretty sure you can also get rid of all the copies from their deck and their hand. So that means that card is basically unusable. So this guy's effect is, Greedy Venom Fusion Dragon's effect is, must be fusion summoned once per turn. You can target one face-up monster on your field until the end of this turn, change that target's attack to 0. Also, that target has its effects negated. If this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, destroy as many destroy as many monsters as possible. And when you banish one level 8 you can banish one level 8 or higher dark monster from your graveyard and special summon this card from your graveyard. So, yeah, pretty great. Then Starving Wind and Fusion Dragon. 2 dark monsters on the field, doesn't matter what they are. You could use Zombie World, turns them into dark zombies. Pretty good for this deck since it's Fiend, Spellcasters, and Zombies. So 2 dark monsters on the field, like I said. If this card is fusion summoned, you can make this card gain attack equal to one of your opponent's special summon monsters. Doesn't matter what it is, it could be Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, and it gets all of its attack. I'm pretty sure it adds it to its normal attack. Yeah, it adds it to its normal attack. So that means this would be 4, 6, like 7,300. Yeah, 7,300 attack point monster. Just for summoning this and copying a monster. You can target one level 5 or higher monster your opponent controls until the end of this turn. That card's name this card's name becomes that monster's original name and replace this effect with that monster's original effect. So let's say it was, again, let's say I can't use a link monster. Can't think of anything really. Let's just say it was Greedy Venom Fusion Dragon. This would gain its effect in its name. And if this card is fusion summoned, if this fusion summoned card is destroyed, you can destroy all of your opponent's special summon monsters. Pretty great. So, again, this extra deck isn't complete. I'll probably make a part 2 when I get the cards. Okay, now for the main deck. Countergate. You need Countergate. Because you're going to be either taking a lot of life point damage, would be giving a lot of life point damage with Parade, or receiving a lot of life point damage because your opponent can't be, your opponent can't be damaged if you have Parade on the field. And where is the other one? I know I added it. Where is it? Ghostrick. That is so weird. I don't have Ghostrick Museum in here. Huh. Maybe I left it in my binder by accident. Weird. Anyway, what this does, if your opponent attacks you directly, if your opponent attacks you directly, you can gain 1 Ghostrick card, doesn't matter what it is, as long as it has Ghostrick in the name. So, you could get that, this if you wanted, this if you wanted, this, very good card. Anyway, like I said, Countergate, if you draw a monster, you can special summon it in attack mode, or if you gain a spell or a trap card, not that big of a deal, you can just have the spell or trap card in your hand. So what, Parade does, like I said, that's its bottom effect, but monsters cannot attack face-down defense monsters. All of these monsters go in face-down defense mode first. Because of their effect, they're basically flip monsters, but they're not counted as flip monsters. You can attack directly if all of your opponent's monsters are face down, but your opponent takes no damage, so there's really no point of having this. So what, I'm pretty sure Museum does basically the opposite. I'm not sure, I have to go look. And when an opponent clears direct attack, you can get a Ghostrick. So let's say you really needed renovation for some reason. you could set counter gate, use this, have one face down. Have one face down. Have one face down and have one hand trap. Jack Frost is a hand trap. So, your opponent goes to attack you directly, you activate Jack Frost's effect, setting him, and then you will also chain counter gate, drawing a card. Ooh, it's polymerization. Yeah, ooh, it's polymerization. Woo, that's so fun. Polymerization's for these fusion monsters, over here. Then you'd have 2 set downs, you negate their attack, and you'd also get to search for another Ghostrick monster. Or a Ghostrick thing. So you could also get Scare, which puts all of your opponent's monsters in face down defense. So, yeah. Poly, you already know what that does. Very basic card. Okay. Move on to the monsters. Well, not the monsters, but the other spells and traps. Renovation. This basically exists. Target one Ghostrick field spell in your field zone, return it to your hand. Then you can activate one field spell from your deck or hand. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one Ghostrick Exist monster you control. Special summon from your extra deck one Ghostrick Exist monster with a different name by using that target as material. This is treated as an Exist summon, transfer its materials to the summoned monster. You can only use this effect of Ghostrick Renovation once per turn. So, really good if you're trying to win with, Ghostrick it's Ghostrick Angel, basically. Because its effect is if this card has 10 things on it, you can, you automatically win the duel. So, what I'd say, pretend this is a disease monster, I don't own it. Well, and it requires 2. Okay, this is your ally card, let's say. This is your ally card. Then this is one of your other things, and then then you use, the trap card. You flip over your trap card, you're like, whoa! Okay, then you get your Exist monster. You use these as Exist materials. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 already. All you need is 4 more and you win. So, pretty good effect. So, yeah. Allure of Darkness, very needed. So basically, let's say, oh, I only have this in my hand. I'm going to take a gamble. I would play Allure of Darkness, draw 2 cards. I would then banish 1 dark. You have to do this after the effect activates. If you don't, you have to send your entire hand to the graveyard. Yep. All of your hands your entire hand to the graveyard. So you'd banish your Jingashi, which is sad, but you would. And then let's say you'd play Scapegoats. You get your Scapegoat tokens, and then you get your Exist monster. Where are you? Your Exist monster, making you take no battle damage for the rest of the turn, and that's a quick effect. So you could have your monster swing into yours, and you take no battle damage. Very helpful if you have the Ghostrick Parade. Scare. Puts your monsters in defense. Puts your opponent's monsters in defense mode, with the amount of Ghostricks that you have on your field. You have 5 Ghostricks, all of your opponent's monsters go face down unless they have a linked monster. Basically. Target any number of face down defense position monsters you control. Most of them are going to be Ghostricks. Change them to face up defense position. Count the number of Ghostrick monsters, like I said, among them, and if you do, change up to that many face up monsters your opponent controls to face down. Simple card. I recommend running, how many do I have in here? 3? Let's see. I think I have 3 scares in here. I know 2 renovations. because you have to cycle your field spells. Yeah, only 1 scare. And 3 renovations, actually. Drowning Mirror Force, very good. You can get rid of all of your opponent's monsters, shuffling them back to the deck. So if it's extra deck, they can't just, like, let's say, either Fusion Reborn them, not Fusion Reborn, Pendulum Reborn or Monster Reborn them, if they're Pendulum monsters or something. Drowning Mirror Force shuffles them back to deck. 3 Allure of Darknesses. Book of Life. Target 1 zombie monster in your graveyard, special summon that. Target one of your opponent's monsters, target one of your opponent's monsters, and then target 1 zombie monster in your graveyard. Target your zombie monster, special summon it, and banish your opponent's monster. So. And it has to be in face-up attack or defense. You can't have it in face-down. But you can activate their effects, which all of them share the same effect, where if you flip them if they're flipped face up, something happens, and if they're, and then you can flip them face down once per turn. Super Poly, really good for, not these guys, but, Starving Venom Fusion Dragon and Greedy Venom Fusion Dragon. If you know your opponent plays a dark deck, there you go. So, only have 1 of those. Chain Destruction. When a monster is 2,000 or less says attack is summoned, target 1 of them, destroy all cards with that name in its controller's hand in main deck. Oh, sorry. I was thinking of this card when I was talking about that Predaplant, but the Predaplant basically negates that effect, negates an effect forever, basically, even if it leaves the field. Sorry. Effect Veiler Hand Trap. Ghostrick Parade, we've already talked about that. Lord of Darkness, already talked. Twin Twisters. Quick Play, which means you can use it on your opponent's turn, discard 1 card, and then pick up to 2 spells or traps on the field. Can be your own spells and traps, in case you want to cycle your field spells. Destroy them. I run 2 Twin Twisters. So, yeah. Now, on to the monsters. I have a lot of monsters in here. This deck is basically all monsters. Because that's how good monsters are. These monsters are. This is a stall-heavy deck. If you don't like stalling or waiting, if you like going really fast, this is not the deck for you. So, in-card destruction just to cycle. So, here's the comparison. Here's the spells and traps. Here's the spells and traps. And here's the monsters. Not that much of a difference, but still kind of noticeable. Yeah, still very noticeable. One's way thicker. So, I run about 2 of every copy of monsters, except Yeti and some other ones. I don't have Scarecrow or Skeleton, because my card shop did not have them in stock. And I haven't ordered them yet. So, Ghostrick Doll, very simple. When this card is flipped face up, can be either an attack or defense. I normally keep them in defense. When this card is flipped face up, you can either flip it yourself or your monster, or a monster can attack into it. Its effect will still activate. All of them cannot be normal summoned unless you already control a Ghostrick. So you have to normal set them. You can change this card's battle position to face down defense position once per turn. When this card is flipped face up during the end phase, choose as many possible face up monsters on the field as possible to face down defense position. Then you can special summon 1 Ghostrick monster from your deck in face down defense position whose level is less than or equal to the number of monsters. So again, your opponent has 5 monsters, you get to summon a level 5 Ghostrick. There's no such thing, but still. I run 2. Yeti. Basically makes anything immortal. So let's say you have only a Yeti on the field. oh, your opponent's going to crash into it and do major life point damage to you. You flip over, when they attack into it, you'll flip over the Yeti and say, this is the only face-up Ghostrick monster on the field, so I target this monster. This monster cannot be destroyed, and you can't activate card effects to destroy this monster. Which basically makes this monster immortal for the turn. And you can target one of any face-up Ghostrick monster. So I run 3 of those, because I like its effect. Jack Frost. Same as the other one, it can't be normal summoned, has to be normal set. Once per turn, you can change this face down. Your opponent monster declares a direct attack. Again, going back to the direct attacks, you're going to be taking a lot of risks with the, where are you? The parade. But it's so worth it. You can special summon this monster in face down defense position when your opponent declares a direct attack. Jingeshi. I run 2 of these guys. What its effect is that once per turn, obviously once per turn can't be normal set unless you control a Ghostrick face up. All of them have that, so I'm just going to skip that effect. You can add this card from your deck to your hand. You can add from your deck to your hand 1 Ghostrick monster whose level is less than or equal to the number of Ghostrick monsters you control. You can only use this effect of Ghostrick Jingeshi once per turn. Fairy can, to the number of set cards you have, you can bring back 1 Ghostrick monster in your graveyard. Yep. Oh, actually, that's not how it works. You can target 1 Ghostrick monster in your graveyard, set that card, but banish it when it leaves the field. Obviously, that'd be busted if it didn't. Then you can change this card to face-up attack position. You can change face-up monsters your opponent controls to face-down defense position, up to the number of set cards you control. Yukiona is really good. I run 3 Yukionas. So if your opponent crashes into this, you'll flip this girl over, and you'll send it to the graveyard. You'll say its graveyard effect activates. When this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can, I flip the monster that destroyed this card face down, and you can no longer change its battle position. So, good way to lock your opponent. So if you can lock the entire field, great. Good for you. Effect Veiler, you already know what that does, can basically negate a monster effect. Run 1. Stein. You can add 1 Ghostrick spell. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can add 1 Ghostrick spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. You only want to run one of these guys. Warwolf. I run 2. Oh yeah, and also forgot Enchanted Javelin, because since all of these are in face down, I can just gain some life points. So, Warwolf. What this does, when this card is flipped face up, inflict 100 damage for each Ghostrick. For each set card on the field, you can only use this effect once per turn. Now, this boy. These, I think there's only 2. Yeah, these 2 are your heavy hitters. Because let me just set something for you. So, you'll have this. You have these 2 face down. I know, I'm crazy. I know. Just having so many monsters set down. Well, why would you do such a thing? You'll see. Ghostrick Spectre, really good hand trap. If your opponent attacks you directly, doesn't matter. You can set this card and draw 1 card. Really good. So, let's say you had a Yukiona set. Let's say you had a Yukiona set and another Yukiona set. Let's say that was your field. And then, Ghostrick, where's Fairy? I'm thinking of the highest attack point monsters in this deck. There we go. what you would do would be, flip something, Ghostrick Fairy, activate its effect. Let's say you didn't have a ghoul. Let's say you didn't have this ghoul. It would be in the graveyard. You'd face up it. No, I'm sorry. You'd set it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you have to set it. Yep. You have to set it. But let's say that you already had it. You just flip that up. You'd flip this up, and this, and this, and this. So, and then you flip one of these into attack mode. You want to make sure all of the other ones are in defense mode. Make sure all of them are in defense mode. Oh wait, I also, never mind. Forget what I said about, Doll Fairy. Make it, try and have, Ghostrick Yeti on your field at all times. Because what you would do was, you'd flip all of these face up. Now, this card gains attack to all Ghostrick monsters on the field. Well, you can target one Ghostrick monster on the field to gain attack to all face-up Ghostrick monsters on the field. They don't have to stay face-up, they just have to be face-up when you activate this effect. So, what I do, and how I beat my friend, and how he got, just said GG's. 1,100. 1,000. 1,100, so that's already, 2,200, 3,200, 3,200, 4,200, 4,400. That's 4,500 damage on one monster that keeps his attack until the end of your next turn. And since all of these are they're not hand traps, they're field traps, basically. So, if he did this, I would just say, oh, I want to make this guy immune anyway. I want to make my Yeti immune, because they probably won't have anything to destroy this with. I want to make my Yeti immune. Okay, they target this, I just put their monster in face down. They want to target that, then they're like, okay, I'm not going to attack you anymore. Let's say you drew a fairy, for example. Let's say you drew fairy. You put this face up. Repeat. Flip, flip. Make this card immortal. 1,000, 3,000. So, 3,200. 3,200. 4,300. 4,600. I did that math completely wrong. So 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 4,100. Yeah, 4,400. This monster would have 4,400. Then you'd set all of these monsters. Swing on something. Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. That's how you beat decks. Again, I will put another post when I get Alucard and stuff. So, for the remaining cards, which is basically only Mummy. Well, it is only Mummy, actually. I've talked about all the cards that I have in my deck. Mummy. I've honestly never pulled this card. Same as every normal Ghostrick. You can add one normal summon. You can normal summon one Ghostrick monster in addition to your normal summoner set. You cannot special summon any monsters from your extra deck except Dark. Well, that's not really a problem, besides, like, Fucho, Cat. Besides, like, these Xyz monsters that aren't actually supposed to be in here. But other than that, that's not really a problem. So, well, that was it. Have fun installing. And, yeah.